Welcome to the Fearless Teacher Presents Equations and One Variable. Get ready for your notes, folks. This is going to be a review because you've had this both in Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. So let's just kind of get started. We're just going to work some problems. The review is about equations in one variable. And a variable is a letter A, B, C, X, Y, Z. Anything can represent it. So let's talk first about expressions. You know, an expression is 2x minus 6, or an expression is 4, or an expression is h minus y. When you put two expressions together with an equal sign in between them, then you have an equation. 3 plus 7 equals 9, 4x plus 1 equals 8, x squared plus 2y equals 7 are all examples of equations. Let's solve this. Very simple two-step problem. 2x plus 1 equals 9. We want to isolate the x. So the first thing we need to do is subtract 1 from both sides. So when I subtract 1 from both sides, I have 2x equals 8. Now I still need to isolate the x, and the x has a 2 by it, which is multiplied by x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 4. 4 can be called the answer, it can be called the solution, or it can be called the root. It all means the same thing, and you should be able to recognize all three of these as words for similar for the answer. Memorize that. You will be tested. Okay, let's go on with solving some more equations. How about x plus 7/12 equals 1/2? Fractions, everybody loves fractions. I need to isolate the x, which means I'm going to have to subtract 7/12 from both sides. So I'll put it down like this. Now, on the left-hand side, I'm just going to get rid of them because a plus 7/12 minus 7/12 is 0. But on the right-hand side, I have to change to my common denominator, which is 12. Remember, your common denominator will be at least as big as your biggest denominator. So I already have my negative 7 over 12, but I have to change my 1/2. And so I say 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 1 is 6. So there we have that. So that means x equals 6/12 minus 7/12, which is 1/12. All right? Feel free to pause this if you need to catch up with, copying problems. The next one is 3/4 x equals 21. Well, what I want you to remember is when you multiply a variable by a fraction, in order to undo it and get rid of it, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is flipping it upside down. Also remember, if the number is negative, the reciprocal is also negative. So now I have 4/3 times 3/4 x equals 21, and I have to multiply the 21 by the same 4 divided by 3. On the left-hand side, everything cancels out because a number times its reciprocal is always equal to 1. So now what I have to do, I'm going to put a 1 under the 21, and I can cancel the 3 and the 21, so I have x equals 28. The next one is minus 5x equals 9. If I want to get the x by itself, I have to divide by negative 5. If I divide by positive 5, I'm going to have another step to get rid of that negative in front of the x. So just multiply by the negative 5 itself. So if I divide by negative 5. If I divide both sides by negative 5, I have x equals negative 9 over 5. Okay, the next one is negative 2 over 7x equals 4 over 21. Once again, I want to, the x has been multiplied by negative 2 7, so I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, which is negative 7 over 2 on both sides. And the negative 7 over 2 and the negative 2 over 7 cancel out to 1, so I have x equals, I cancel my 2 and 4 and my 7 and my 21, I have x equals negative 2 over 3. I want you to remember something and write this down. If you have a fraction that has a negative in the numerator and a positive in the denominator, like negative 3 over 5, that's the same thing as positive 3 over negative 5, but we write it with the negative sign out front. So we have that as, I pull the negative out front like I did in my 5x equals 9. All right, let's try a longer one. Let's try one where we have to do something to at least one side before we can start moving things from one side of the equation to the other. We have 3x minus 5 equals x plus 2 minus 7x. So the first thing I notice is on the right-hand side, I can gather some like terms and simplify first. So I'm going to put my x and my negative 7x together, and I'll have negative 6x plus 2. And if I just copy down on my left-hand side 3x minus 5, now I have a new equation to deal with, and I observe it. I look at it to see what it is that I need to do, and I'm going to take the negative 6x over to the left-hand side. You can do it the other way if you want. It doesn't matter. It just means that you might have an extra step in getting rid of a negative sign. So I'm going to move my negative 6x over to the left by adding 6x to both sides. So I'm going to have 9x minus 5 equals 2. Now I have to evaluate this again and say, what do I need to do to get the x by itself? The x is going to stay on the left-hand side. I'm going to move the negative 5 away by adding 5 to both sides. So I'll have 9x equals 7. Now I still don't have my x by itself, so I'm going to have to divide both sides by 9. So I'll have x equals 7/9, and that's my final answer. Okay, it is true that practice makes permanent. The more that you practice, the more you're going to get it into your head and be able to continue doing harder and harder problems. So what we want to do is, I want you to copy these and put them in your notes and work them out right now. These will be part of your notes. Should I collect your notes? I expect to see all these problems in here. And I'm going to go ahead and list them, and then when they get all written down here, you can hit the pause button so that you can make sure you write them all down and work them out before you go on. So now, pause. Okay, now we're going to go on. These are questions to ponder. I want you to give this some thought, and I want you to actually write out the answers in your notes. The first question to ponder. We have r, and r is a number that is less than 1. I want to know, is the solution of this equation 10 divided by 9 plus x equals r positive or negative, and why? So once again, you want to pause till you write this down and work out the answer. One more. This time we're going to say x is a negative number less than negative 5. X is a negative number less than negative 5. Is the solution to the equation x equals minus 5y less than or greater than 1? So you want to pause again to get that written down. And that's it, folks, for this time. See you the next time. Bye.